sometimes adding additional information or slightly shifting your perspective can change the story entirely. Let me give you an example. So recently I was thinking about Luke 19. You know the story of Zacchaeus. So Jesus is coming to town, and Zacchaeus, a rich tax collector, hides up in a tree. Jesus comes alongside him and says, "Hey, Jesus," or no, "Hey, Zacchaeus, come down. I need to go to your house today." And then Jesus goes to Zacchaeus' house. And voila, it's a big party, celebration, and Zacchaeus is cut to the heart. And because of Jesus' kindness, that's what I'm going to translate. Zacchaeus decides he's going to right all his wrongs. He's going to repay everyone he's stolen from and cheated as a tax collector in his job. And he's going to give half of his wealth to the poor. So just a brilliant story, a great moral. Be kind to short people. But then, recently I've read Jesus in Class Conflict. It's trying to take the angle of the perspective of analyzing the life of Jesus through the Marxist worldview. There's a lot to unpack there, and it's not really important right now. But by reading this book, it has changed how I understood that story of Zacchaeus. Just a little warning disclaimer. If you want to keep Jesus in your little box as a nice guy, just skip on the video, don't continue watching. But this is what happened when I was thinking about it. So one of the big things I took away from this book was Jesus was poor. No, let me say that again. Jesus was poor. Like, we're talking dirt poor. Like, yes, we've heard the verse where he says, "Foxes have holes and something or other, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." Just think about that. Jesus was poor. And when you're poor, eating is a luxury. Just ask any poor person of what they would do to get food. Now, another thought to add to this. So years ago, my one uncle was a single man who's living in a farming community, and he would intentionally time his return of farm equipment or picking up farm equipment from his neighbors around supper time. And then he would linger. And he would just, hang around, chit-chat about the farm a little bit. Until the family kind of felt obligated to say, "Hey, why don't you join us for supper? It's about supper time." In which he would say, "Oh, I would love to. Thank you very much." Because it was an easiest way for him to get a home-cooked warm meal. Now we'll read back to Jesus enters Jericho. Now, what do we know about Zacchaeus that Jesus comes across? That's right. Zacchaeus is rich. Who do you think of that entire crowd would best be able to serve Jesus and his companions? Yes. Now, are you seeing what I'm seeing there? Jesus maybe simply thought, "I need to find a place to eat in this town." And he analyzed the crowd and he's like, "That man up in the tree, I bet you he would put on a real good spread." So Jesus, yes, kindly, but maybe with a little bit of alternative motives, goes up to Zacchaeus and says, "Come down from that tree. I need to go to your house today." In which Zacchaeus willingly and gladly does, because he likes the idea of associating with Jesus, because Jesus is kind of a celebrity. But Jesus, at the same time, was serving his own self-interest. But by doing so, don't forget this part. The end of the story is Zacchaeus is changed because Jesus serves his own self-interest by seeking a meal with him. That is something intriguing. And just one more thing from James Crosley here and Robert Miles. So they pointed out that they think that Jesus' mission very much involved the rich. Because they read the world in that whole class conflict thing. So if the world is in class conflict, the rich are the ones who are oppressing the poor, like Jesus. But at the same time, it is the rich, the tax collectors, who have the power to change something. So Jesus intentionally associates with the rich Zacchaeus because he knows by doing so, he will change Zacchaeus' view and interaction with the poor, ushering in the kingdom of God. Now, that's not the version you'll hear in Sunday school. But is it something to be considered?